Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Mr. Jones. First thing I want to do is wish everyone well. I'm hoping everyone is staying safe during these troubling times. Hope everyone is being smart. Hope everyone is taking care of their loved ones. Hoping everyone is taking their vitamin C. And I hope to see everyone soon once we return back to excellence. So by now you guys have realized that you have staff work to do. You have your math packets, you have your ELA packets, but you still have, I want you to still be able to work on some music stuff. So what I'm going to be doing over the course of these few weeks is recording some videos to give you guys some tools so that you can use to study up on some stuff before we get back to school, alright? So first thing, if you see me looking down a lot, it's because I'm using my GoPro and my phone here lets me see what you guys see. So just to make sure that you guys can see everything that I'm writing on the board and that I'm talking about, I'm going to be looking down to check my phone just to make sure everything is good to go. So the first thing I want to do is talk about the two clefs that we've already been working on in class, because actually what I'm going to do instead is show you two resources that we're going to be using over the next few weeks. The first one is over here. It's called musictheory.net. What that is a very interactive website that you can use to practice your music theory. All the tips and tricks I'm going to show you, you can go on this website. I'm going to show you at the end of the video versus now, but you can go on that website, you can click some buttons, and you're going to practice some of the things that we're talking about here. The second resource is called onlinepianist.com, but you have to put in this entire link. So I want you to put in onlinepianist.com/virtual-piano. Alright? Put this entire link into the web browser, and now let me show you guys exactly what it does. So this is what it looks like. And it literally is a virtual keyboard, so you can use your mouse to press some of the keys. Or you can use your keyboard. I'm not sure if it's coming out too clear. My phone is not in front of me right now. But on my screen, I can see some of the letters that appear on my actual typing keyboard, like Q, W, E, R, T, Y. You can use those to actually press down and get the notes instead. Now, you guys may notice that you're getting that ringing noise after each note. To get rid of that, you're going to scroll up. See where it says sustain? Click that. Let's turn that off. So now, when you press the keys, it doesn't ring out afterwards. So have fun with that. Definitely use this resource to practice any kind of piano. Use that resource to practice all the theory stuff that we're going to be using if you don't already have a piano at home. Alright? So now let's actually get into today's lesson, and I'm going to show you at the end of the video how musictheory.net is going to be used to help you guys out. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a review. It is actually called the treble clef. Most of you guys should already know what the treble clef is and what it looks like. Here's my drawing of it. Next to the treble clef, we have what's called music staff. Notice I'm drawing 5 lines on my staff. And move a little closer. There are 5 lines on my staff, and there are 4 spaces in between the lines. So let me just switch colors with the marker so I can show you guys that. I can better illustrate that. That a staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. And just remember the order. The order goes from bottom to top, meaning that the first line is down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Order of the lines goes from bottom to top. The spaces does the exact same thing. So for the spaces, I'm going to put it on the opposite side. Space 1, space 2, space 3, and space 4. So it looks like that. So one more time. This is called the treble clef. I'll explain what that does in a little bit. These numbers down here represent the 5 lines on the staff, the order going from bottom to top. And these numbers over here represent the spaces in between the staff going from bottom to top. So every staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. Please, if you're going to write this down, use a pencil. As always, music is always done in pencil. Each staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. So now, what goes on the staff? Notes go on the staff. What kind of notes? Letters. Use the first 7 letters of the regular alphabet in our musical alphabet. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The first 7 letters of the alphabet are the 7 letters of the musical alphabet. These are the notes. Anytime you hear people say play an E, play a D, play an F, they're talking about the 7 letters in the musical alphabet. Now, you guys already know what quarter notes look like, you know what half notes look like, you know what whole notes look like, so we're not going to waste time going back into those. I'm just going to put some notes on the staff, and I'm going to show you how to figure out where the notes go. So, if I put a quarter note here, notice that that quarter note is in the second space of the treble clef staff. How do I know what note that is? How do we know what note that is? Well, luckily, we have these helpful sentences that we're going to use to remember a whole bunch of things in music. If you're playing a string instrument, you're going to use sentences to remember the strings on a violin, the strings on a guitar, the strings on a cello. In this case, we're going to use a sentence to remember the lines on the treble clef staff. Now, this sentence is arguably the most famous sentence you're ever going to learn in music. It is, every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Like I said, arguably the most famous sentence in music. Why do we use this sentence? Because the first letter in every word corresponds to a line on the treble clef staff. I'll say it again. The first letter in every word corresponds to a line on the treble clef staff. Also, notice the order that I wrote the sentence in. I wrote it very specifically going from bottom to top. Why? Because I want you guys to realize that it corresponds to the actual staff, the 5 lines on the staff. So if you take that principle, the first letter in every word corresponds to a line on the staff. That means this first line, line 1, this is going to be note E. So I'm going to draw a quarter note representing note E. This next line, the second line, line 2, the word is good. The letter is G. So the second note, or rather the second line, the note is going to be G. I'm going to draw another quarter note to represent that. Now we still have this note in the second space. Well, how do we figure out the notes in the spaces? We have the sentence for the lines. What's the sentence for the space? Well, luckily for a treble clef, we don't need a sentence for the space. We're not going to use a sentence for the space. Why? Because the letters themselves already spell out a word. The word is face. F, A, C, E. Face. Right? Good. So, take that into account now.